Okay, so I've done a couple of short videos on this 4270 on our TikTok channel. But yeah, we're going to strip this lady down. The PTO gears in the back end are sold, and I've kind of been putting off stripping it down, but to get in at them, you could just split the ring of studs that are completely invisible, courtesy of all the shit that's on it. If you wanted to open the ring of studs here, down underneath and across the far side, and push back the rear axle, but it should be very, very unsteady. So look, we're going to strip it down and stick the engine onto a pallet for the time being, but we are going to rebuild that in a future video. The transmission, then, it's a 12x12 manual shuttle 40k, and it's in good order for what we can make out. And driving the tractor, she was selecting all gears, no grinding or grating or anything like that, so it'll go straight onto a pallet for sale. And then lift the cab out of the way, obviously, and we'll go in through the front of the rear axle housing then when we have all that off. So a little bit of work ahead of us at the minute. We'll start here, taking off the front axle carrier. We'll open these two studs and the two that are here, and also the same on the far side. And yeah, then it's the engine out. So let's get stuck in. Okay, so we've the axle stands taken out and an old gearbox housing taking the weight over now. So we're going to drop off this weight frame. We've the bolts cracked in this side, we'll just crack them this side now, and we can get the Manitou then and lift her down. Okay, I have it strapped to the forks now just to stop it flipping, and yeah, open the four remaining bolts, and then we back the forklift back out of the way and dump it somewhere. Doing these things on your own, you can't see what's happening. Stuck on that bolt there now. Yeah, very little left holding it. This old Manitou was great for lifting stuff, but the vision from the driver's seat when you're trying to take out that front tombstone is poor, to say the least. So I spend most of my time like Ace Ventura, hanging out the side of it trying to see what's happening. But anyway, look, she's off is the main thing. So we'll go back now and take off the engine. Right, we'll take a quick run through what we're going to be taking off. Everything connecting the engine to the gearbox or to the cab. So throttle cable has to go. The bracket for the forward reverse in there has to go. Wire and loom. These pipes that are going up onto the orbiter unit There's also one going to the cooler, so we'll disconnect that now and let it drain into a bucket. Any of the other bits and bobs, or ancillaries as the posh people call them. What's on this side? Fuel pipe coming up to the pre-cleaner. We'll have to go to water pipes are looped already, so yeah, a few old brackets and expansion bottle and shit like that. So we'll pull them off then, and that is just a ring of studs. That bolt in there is already rounded. I see some genius. It's a double hex head that's on them, and if you have a bad socket at all, you round them. So yeah, we'll stick a pallet onto the forks of the Manitou then, and just throw it up underneath it. Open the ring of studs, give her a little lift and pull out. Hopefully it'll come off handier than that front tombstone did. Yeah, what a jaunty angle, Okay, I don't think there's too many people that want to look at my arse for the next 10 minutes or that, but I'm trying to give you the best view of the tractor, not of my arse, and what I'm doing to it. So we'll just disconnect that first off, and let the oil drain down into the bucket. It's one of the boys next door heading away home. Half day again, Jerry. Let that dribble away down into the bucket. It's a good cooler if anybody's looking for a cooler. The pipe is as hard as the hob of hell now as well. Bring that inside and let it drain off anyway, but that's a good oil cooler. It's the early type one, it's the smaller one, so if anybody needs one, it's there. Right, what have we left? Disconnect the electrical plugs first. This is a kind of a made-up internal breather. Now I don't know whether that was adding to things as well, because it's not an original internal breather anyway. They have it just shoved back into the air intake. So every kind of shit and dirt. She must be burning a lot of oil. Right, we'll take off the bracket here, I suppose. The 17s. Whatever genius was here last, you put the spacer directly behind the head of the bolt. I'll actually show you this. You put the spacer behind the head of the bolt when clearly the spacer is supposed to go behind the bracket to keep the bracket stepped out away from the plate here, but no. Geniuses at work. They're everywhere, lads, not just in Ireland, they're in Spain as well. I don't know whether that's set up that you can see what I'm at, but anyway. Oh. We'll keep going. Okay, so now we have the wiring loom and pipes and stuff like that removed. So a forklift in position with a pallet underneath just to drop out the engine. To drop out the engine. So we're onto that dodgy bolt. Get a bit of an extension. See if we get it to move. The top one moved fairly easy. Actually, we took out the very bottom bolts on both sides as well, and they are not over tight at all. Right. Let's see if this will come. Sure, it's falling over. Lovely. Okay, that's all of them out on that side, so just take out the ones the opposite side. These aren't tight at all, lads. Trying to do this one-handed and record now is a disaster. As you can see, because the socket keeps getting stuck. Last one. Hopefully it won't fall on my toe. She's going somewhere, lads. We may give her a bit of a lift. What do you reckon? Okay, last one now. Okay, we have the centre one out as well. Let's see it in there. We'll back a small bit, makes it easy, because we could take off that bracket for the forward reverse as well. It's caught in behind the filters. Okay, we're moving out nicely here. Put that bracket down out of the way. Take it off if we can. Right. Just give her a little bit of a lift. The clutch is sitting on the bell housing there now. So tilt it back in and reverse straight out. So that's it. Engine is out. Bell housing's leaking. Just finished recording TikTok, just kind of showing clips of what we're doing. And as I said in that, I quoted the great Ed China. Top tip: never walk away from an engine that's sitting on a pallet, just for fear that you're unlucky enough that that pallet will crack and said engine will end up on its side. Anywho, that's the joys of talking on a phone. Yeah, it broke the neck. There it is there. And it bent the pickup, or the dipstick pipe, bent the diesel pipe, and cracked the intake manifold. Lovely. So now I better get something to clean up this oil. Okay, now that we're over that debacle, let's get this cab up out of the way. Excuse me, we'll have to disconnect that forward reverse there. What else has to be disconnected? PTO levers, cab mount brackets. Lift levers are gone already because the top cover is off it. And then there's the cables coming down. We can get in at the PTO side plate fairly handy and disconnect those cables coming down there. That's about it. We'll come in the back window then and lift the cab straight up and put it onto a slightly stronger pallet. Okay, so I didn't record lifting the cab off. It's actually up on TikTok, just a short video. This yoke, I'd say, took a bit of a roll. The cab mountings are bent, and just a couple of other little telltale signs around the place. Housing was cracked as well here, but I can call it quits now for this evening. We'll come in the morning and race that wants a wash. I think I'll just pull it off first. Just open ring studs, just get it off to get in at those gears because they have to be shipped tomorrow. So yeah, once that's on a pallet, then we'll give it a wash off and stuff. So hopefully it'll go on a pallet and stay on it, unlike some other engines. What do you think, Deck? Yeah, you couldn't give two fucks. You're right too, you know. Diesel tank is kind of heading for Mount Leinster as well, so we'll pull that off. I don't think there's much in that. Fairly new pump on it as well by the looks of things, but I wouldn't be trusting what it's like. Might open it up maybe and check it out for pig iron one of these fine days. But yeah, tomorrow we'll open it here from this joint here, just at the back of the gear stick where it goes into the range box, and we'll lift all that out then, and we'll go in through the front. We'll take out the PTO and lift pump, and we can get in then at the pinion. Lovely. Okay, after yesterday's debacle, we're back here this morning. We're going to take off the gearbox, but first take off the filter cap underneath and let any remaining oil drain down there. So then open the ring of studs. We'll take these bottom ones out of the way, and then we can move the axle stand / gearbox housing back to this point here. Okay, so gearbox is off. I'll give you a look in the front of the rear axle housing. This main lift pump has to come out now, along with the PTO pack that's in behind it. To get the PTO pack out, we have to take off that chain which runs out. The chain drives that pump in that housing that's there, which is the auxiliary pump. Yeah, so two side covers have to come off, and also this filter housing here, which has the dowel for this side of the pump built into it. So still a bit of ripping to do. We have the ring studs open on this side, and just to take out these two small bolts here, you can wipe some of the shit away from it, which holds the selector for the PTO 540,000. Pipes are disconnected and the two bolts are out of the pump, so we'll just slide it back a bit, set a heat. Ooh, yeah. That's your drive there. That has to be taken out now as well to get the chain out. Yeah, we'll knock off this filter housing as well, which also has the dowel on it for holding the pump. Okay, that's off. There's that dowel. We're going to leave it in it for the time being. We'll take out this sensor next and then knock this drive through this way from the back. Just take off the plate at the back and knock it through, and we will get off this bearing here on the outside and then knock the whole lot back and take off the chain, the drive chain that's going through on top of the pack. And we're under kind of time constraints here, so I better get my finger out. So that's how that works. You tap from the back after you take the cover off until this bearing shows the lip is there. There is a circlip available from Massey's and all that kind of dung, but right now I just get a pry bar just into the lip, put the bolt through like so, tap the end of the bolt, and then you pull that out. Now the chain is going to slide in inside. If you were doing a job for the exciter wheel, if it was loose and you wanted to give it a tack of weld, you'd be sticking a screwdriver or something there to stop it from falling internally, but seeing as how we want to take it out, we'll let it hang there. Just pull out the bearing, and there's the drive, so you can get that drive out the back. If you see the exciter wheel that's in there, that's too big to come out this end, so you slide her out the rear, set E confidently, except the chain is caught. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and prise that chain off, so I'm gonna have to put you down, guys. That's hurt. Just get the chain off the teeth internally, and then you can pull drive gear with its exciter wheel, which is bent. She wasn't showing revs properly anyway. You can pull that out to the back. So now we're going to slip the chain off the outside of the PTO pack, pull that down, open the two bolts and pull that down, and then we have to bring the lift pump along with the PTO pack together out as one piece, because the shaft that's running through the middle of the lift pump goes into the middle of the pack, and if it pulls forward slightly and the pack stays where it is, you'll drop a disc out of the pack, and it's literally that tight trying to get it out that it will it'll get stuck basically, and the only way around it is to cut the shaft. So we don't want to do that if we can help it. Almost forgot to take out the suction filter in the bottom of the pump and the rod that goes into the bottom of the pump, because it won't clear the lip here. Yeah, here I think these are the washers off the spider gears of the diff. I think they came down with that filter. They're actually stuck just here. And looking in here, we took off the shear tube. Now this was a haulage tractor, I'd say, in Spain, because look at that, the end of the pinion, there's that chain moved as well. But that pinion shaft was Dublin's light rail system, Lewis on the shaft. You see the bearing there. Hold on, I'll zoom in. You can see just between the roller and the inner part of the bearing, the inner shell. Look at that, look, that's supposed to be tight. So that pinion shaft, there was a knock in this yoke, all right, I thought it was maybe something to do with the wheel weights slapping around in it, as they're not tight either, but no, that's what it was. The pinion shaft is loose. So yeah, she wasn't far away from blowing the diff, I'd say, somehow or another. We'll have a look at that when we eventually get it apart. Right, let's keep going. That's her out. There's that coupler we're talking about. If that slides out trying to get it out, it just slipped off it there when I put it on the ground, but you can't get it to line back up with the teeth when it's in position. So if that happens when it's in, you can't pull it forward far enough. It gets caught on the end of the shaft here, and you end up having to cut that shaft with the gas. But anyway, that's her. That's the chain. Get that out of the way, and we'll take off that selector there now. And then that's a sacrificial nut that's in there. If you see the little steel pin that's driven up inside, that's basically going to strip the threads off the nut. There's one on each side there, see them? Two of them. That'll strip the threads in the nut, taking it off. Then we can take out our top gear, take out the bottom gear, get them into a box and send them to our customer. This is going out to the guys with the smaller chisels among us, myself included. Obviously that's a fierce distance in, so just to split that nut. That was the only chisel that we had, and we went looking for a longer one. We couldn't get one, so we made our own. That was an old extension. It's very old now. But yeah, that's her. The nut is split. If it will focus, please. Anyway, there you are. The nut is split. So we'll screw it off now and get that double gear off. That's her off. Now we'll just slide out our double gear off the pinion. It's a special washer. Now I have a spacer that the needle roller bearing's running. I can already see that the video paused there for some reason, but I can see already the front gone off the bearing. There's the remainder of it, and see all these needles just ready to fall out. So we'll see, we'll bring the center coupler together along with it. Now, that's her. That's a good double gear. We've new bearings anyway for our customer, so they're going down along with that gear. So we fish out that back gear next. He also needs the indents out with the sliding coupler here for selecting between 540 and 1000. So we'll get them out as well.